Right then, so let's get to it. Let's get a new map on the go. So this is going to be a different version of OpenTTD. It's going to be OpenTTD JGRPP. I'm not even going to begin to pronounce what that actually is, but that's what we're going to call it. And I'm going to make it a 2000 by 2000, I think. 4,000. I tend to get well, that's the size of the one I'm working on at the moment. And even then, I've only done like a quarter of the map, and it is pretty laggy. So I wouldn't want to try a 4,000 one. Let's change this to 1990 just so we have a larger selection of starting trains, because I know that the BR pack that is new that I'm going to be using, if you start in 1985, it doesn't include many things to choose from. So let's see what it generates as. Oof, that is a very well pronounced mountain it has given us. A very well pronounced mountain forest. Let's see. Okay, so let's have a bit of an overview. What have we got? All the towns look so small when you've been used to playing on like in huge enormous cities. Because the good thing about this version of OpenTTD is it grows the towns a lot bigger. So you saw in the previous video thing that kind of explains this, that some of the towns are like 45,000. It's like, it never used to be more than, say, 25, 30,000 before that. So we've got Dad Hatton. Wins a bit of an award for town names there. But let's look at this methodically. Let's go to our town list. Go to population. What is the biggest city? It is there, so let's get our bearings. So we've got a big city in the middle near the bottom. Where is Retston, the second biggest city? That is on the west coast. So one's around here somewhere, there, or wherever. There. One of them is over here. Okay, so we've got like a west coast base maybe there. Ooh, that is very close. One's there. So Retston. Oh god, it's changed. Retston. Get involved. Okay. Right. So there's Retston, and there is Jinbor, which has been relegated to 4th pretty quickly. But I would say that is a good prospect for our first express line, so we could have Jinborn, whatever it is, to this city here, 2,000 cities. There's one there, and then to here. So that's pretty cool. Right. So. Where to begin? Let's start. I'm trying to think whether I should do this legit and go buy the 100,000, because I tend to just give myself one big batch of money and then try and make myself sufficient, to be honest, because I find it very tedious. Because, do you know what? I'm going to do that because why not? Now, this is only because it just becomes very tedious. I'm also going to use Magic Bulldozer to just kind of start off from sort of nothing. You do the same things, it just takes a lot longer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build a railway station, and we'll keep it small and we'll upgrade as we go. Let's make a basic line. Now with this line, what we need to keep in mind is that we're going to have an express train that will go through all these, like all the major towns, maybe? Actually there's quite a lot of towns. We'll have an express train which goes from Retston. This is quite a big, so there's a few here, so this is one big area that should be serviced. So there's like 4,000 people here. So we'll say there's a stop there, and then a stop in Jinborn. Although it's not far from Jinborn to these towns, so is an express route really needed? That's quite close to that. Okay, right. So I think we should have one express train that runs from Retston right through to here, because it's not really going to be efficient if it's stopping so soon, really. We'll have a semi-fast service that stops here, and at the final station, and then we'll have a less frequent stopping route to pick up all the little drags of these little towns. Anything under 1,000 should ideally be a stopping service. So we've got a nice area here that we could build our station on, and the first thing I'm going to do is demolish 3 of these buildings, because that would make a very nice loop for a bus station that we can then adjacently connect to the town and its surrounding areas. We're going to get rid of that horrible pink colour. We're going to go to, let's say, British Rail red? Ooh, it is very bright red. Shall I go channel orientated and go with the... There isn't an orange? Oh, there is an orange. The orange is very obnoxious. Oof, decisions. Let's go with dark blue. I'm a fan of dark blue. And we're going to start this small. Let's do this. In fact, I know what we could do to make this kind of... make it a bit more sort of interesting opposed to just building with a ton of money. I will build this rail network, buy the trains for it, and put like a bus network here and at the other main city. I'm then going to literally just demolish the ocean to get rid of all the money, and then we have to live off whatever is left. We'll maybe give ourselves like 500,000 or something like that. You know, don't want to be too poverty. Might actually become British Rail then. So what we're going to do, this station and the other terminus, they will both be 3 platforms. So then it can accommodate a stopping, semi-fast and express train. Where is this piece? Looking at all these, there we go. Right, so we'll have our platforms here. Now for this station, it's it's a fairly big little coastal town. Coastal towns would have kind of, I draw my inspiration from stations I've seen in real life. The nearest inspiration I get for this would be something like Scarborough, which is kind of like Scarborough in the UK is a very strange station. Oh, by the way, we're going to have 5 platform stations for now, so the express trains will be about 5. And then if we ever need to expand them, then so be it, we'll expand them. But yeah, this station closely resembles, well, the town in general closely resembles kind of to me Scarborough. So I'm kind of going for a similar design. Now Scarborough in the UK is a town that is it's kind of in the northeast of England. Bit of a slightly deprived town, would we say, in certain areas, but it's a bit of a coastal town. Everyone from Yorkshire tends to go to Scarborough. But it had a lot of its train services took out in the 60s, so it's a fairly big station, but it only gets 1 train an hour, which is quite strange because it is a pretty big city. And that train is like an express train that literally just goes, I think it's a 50-mile track to the next major city with only 1 principal stop in between. So it's a bit of a strange line. Right, so we'll build out of here. We're also going to need a train depot because this is a terminus. So what we'll do is we will build that there. So we've got like a nice little junction going on here. And we'll signal it as we go. We'll be nice and neat. So terminus is built. I'm also going to pause the game just to keep time in good perspective. May also look at editing how fast the time goes before we timetable the trains. So now we need to kind of map out our next route. So this is what I would do basically. I've created that station. I'm going to create the next major station. So within this town, where is the best location for this station? So do we want 2 or 3 platforms? I think maybe 3 platforms. I'd like the express trains to not be clogged up along the route. So where can we get 3 platforms? So if I build here as an example, it's going to adversely affect the capacity of the station because I'm taking away a line of potential buildings because it's next to the road. So I'd always want to build one away because then buildings will build next to your station. What I could do, which could be more efficient in the long run, is demolish this. Oh, not allowed while paused. We'll change that. Let's have a look. Allow all actions, please. Right, so we could demolish this. We'll leave that there for now. Demolish these. Demolish that. And we'll connect this. So I like to tidy up the towns as we go because eventually we'll be using these for bus routes and it's good practice just to do it now, really. So we've got this terrain to deal with, so what we could do is level the land up here. Ooh, I have an idea how to use this road. What we could do is make a tunnel to the other side. That's another thing that I feel is important to do. So as we're building these towns, it's nice to kind of, in fact, hang on. How big is the station going to be? I think we're going to make it 4. So we'll have 5 tile for the express, 4 tile for the semi-fast stations, and we'll have 3 tile for the stopping services. Sorry. Okay. But yes, it's good. Whoa. I by the way, I do accidentally do that quite often. I will just naturally rest my finger on the X key, and it will go apeshit. So I apologise. I hope to God nobody has epilepsy. I'm so sorry if you do. Yes. So I like to kind of connect the roads to nearby towns if they're close, but just kind of fill in a basic road network. So just put a few roads down. I might come over here and go, right, well there, look, you can kind of, you're basically forcing the road layout of the town, and in doing so you're ensuring that it doesn't do anything stupid. So for instance, down here, look, so there it's obviously only left one gap between these 2 roads, where over here, if the road had been built that way instead, in fact I'll do this as an example. So if we go like this and get rid of that, what we've actually done is made sure that this land here, we've gone from what was 1, 2, 3 buildings, well, I didn't count, but to what is now potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buildings, because that road is now altered. So changing the road layout of the town, although it destroys a bit of population, over time it does mean that it builds pretty quick. So we now have a basic layout of where the station will be. I will take it up on myself to put in the equipment for the station. So I'm going to guess that because we've got this tunnel, if passengers were there, they would go down into whatever this would be under here, and that would be where they get their tickets. So you would have mainly coverage on here, so there wouldn't be any ticket offices or anything. It'd mainly just be you come up and you wait. So we will put them there. And what can we put down at the end? I think it would be nice if we could put in real-time information boards. So we'll do that. Then we'll have, how should we do the junctions here? Should we just have it as you can access any platform? Or what we could do is basically say that, right, instead of they're all bi-directional platforms, we could say, right, this is an up only, this is down only, and this is shared. Let's do that, because it basically it means that if you have 3 trains coming from one direction, it doesn't stop traffic from the other way. It does have its benefits. So you do that by making sure that the middle platform has, so let's just build these. Only 100 miles an hour at the moment. Oof, we will be upgrading them when we get some better bridges. So we've got aspect signals there, and then what we do is we'll go that way, down here, and then that connects like that. So you bring it so let's put this again. So that is correct. Do that. No, we can't do that, because if I put this is a path signal which a train can use the opposite direction. If I put it on the bridge though, the way the mod is for OpenTTD, it automatically adds a signal there as well, which isn't omnidirectional. Ooh, that does create a challenge for the fact that what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the middle platform 3 wide, 3 tiles long, and I'm going to kind of use it as a test to see if the AI is intelligent enough to know that if we ever have a 4-track train, it shouldn't use that platform. So I'm going to keep an eye on that station. You know, part of its experimentation. And maybe you guys could tell me whether that's actually the case, because it is something that I have wondered before. Now, from here, where are we going to go? I think the only kind of stopping station in range is this one here, so we'd have a stop pretty much straight after this semi-fast stop. And yeah, this one's kind of going out of the way. So if I look at the terrain, so we'd have to come up all this here and then go left. No, we're not doing that. We're going to go left out of here and then go straight via that stopping. service. So what we could do is go underneath this river. So it's a pretty sharp turn, but we are nearing the station, so speed isn't going to be a necessity. Under here, and we will go along this kind of hill shelf. Oops. Let's line that up a bit better. So let's do that. And then we come up here to the area where we're going to have to create our stopping stations. Now for stopping stations, I'm not too bothered about them being really close to the town centre, because, you know, it's mainly designed, I mean, the function of stopping stations is to really kind of just feed into the main express services. So the idea of including this little village is that, I don't know, 50 people could then be added to the express services from here or the other town below. So you're really feeding into the other stations you have. You're also kind of baiting the towns into potentially growing bigger. So if this eventually becomes like a 2,000 strong city, we can then look into, you know, maybe moving it closer, or by that point the city's grown around the station kind of thing. So it's not too important. So we'll create a platform either side. Let's give them, they can have a slightly less fancy live information thing. Come on, this town's like 600 strong. If I came in there, I was like, look, I'm bulldozing through, I'm creating a station here. There's nothing you can do about it. They would not kick off if I gave them one of those. I'd be like, look, you get what you're given. Alright. And I've got a bit of a hill here. In terms of aesthetics, because it's very easy just to kind of bulldoze your way through the land and terrain gen and things like that, but it's nice to kind of impose a few restrictions on yourself to get kind of more realistic track layouts, because obviously track layouts kind of conform to the geography of the area mainly. It's kind of what makes them, you know, just not be point A to point B lines. Well, it does over in the UK. I don't know how that transfers to the rest of the world. So when there's a bit of a height on the hill, I'll try and make a tunnel underneath, because it's just, you know, it's what would happen. So let's do this. I'm also going to make sure that is bridged, and that reminds me of another setting that we need to look into. We need to look into the level crossings one. Let's have a look. Towns are allowed to build on level crossings. No, they are not. No, absolutely not. Right. So that's one station built. Better signal this line. How wide are we going to make the signals? Let's start off with 10. So we'll have signals here. Let's drag them up as per the advice from my last series from you. Okay, so 10, 10, 10 down here. There's a signal there, and then we'll have one here. Also like a signal in there, just so trains can get out of this station quicker. Right. So from there we will go this way. Though I am cautious that I have probably talked for quite a while. I am not really keeping tabs on how long I'm actually creating these videos. I'm just doing what feels right, but I don't want them to make them like ridiculously long. So what I'll do is, for this video, I'll create a little bus network here, and in the next video we'll then extend this a bit further and then tidy up these towns kind of thing. So in terms of a bus route, the bus route is designed to kind of connect towns that are very, very small, out the way of the rail network. Towns where it's just more feasible to put a bus network in them, build up, you know, like build a train up a hill like here. So what we'll do is we'll connect these. Let's give it a bit of a, I'm going to let this town branch out a bit. Just build some roads. Let's give them an and. We want big cities at the start of the game. So we'll have a bus stop up here somewhere. So let's edit this. Let's put that down there. Let's create a loop for our bus stop. And then we'll have a bus stop there. In fact, let's make this so that, oh, it's perfect here. Okay. We'll have a bus stop in this little shack of a town. And then that will come down, let's say, this road. There we go. So it is one bus network. Now, what I will do in some circumstances, so for instance here, the railway is slightly away. It doesn't catch these bits in the town centre. I will make a second bus stop as like a main city centre stop, which tends to happen again in real life. So for instance in Manchester you have kind of two main stations on the edge of the city and a huge bus station in the middle of the city, and part of the intercity transport is that you will be connected to that centre, so you have trams and free buses and paid buses that will take you to that urban centre so you can then connect to where you need to go, and that kind of transfer as well in OpenTTD. So what we'll do is this little loop here looks like a good place to make a bus station. So I'm going to demolish this building, and I'm going to do that. So we'll have Redstone Central. Should the bus terminate here? Should that be the end of the line? I think so. Sometimes you see I could maybe link this onto a like a different route if there was a town nearby, but in this instance there is not, so we will not do that. Oh no, I didn't see that park. I feel bad demolishing so much just for the sake of this bridge, but we will do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bus stop there, which seems like a very strange suggestion considering there is one building there, but this is a bus stop of hope, and I am genuinely hoping and praying that when we start connecting this town, it's going to grow, and it's going to grow that way, and there will be buildings around it. So let's create this then as our first bus network. What we will do is let's see. Let's try an MG1 bus, considering that it has it's got a low running cost over these 40 passengers, 55 miles an hour. I should do it to be fair. So I'm gonna literally just create the bus first of all, start it off with the service, and then we'll say the last stop is now loading. Central Redstone. I'm going to also make a stop around here. In fact, actually, it'd be better to kind of get this catchment. So let's take it away from there. If I build a bus stop here, it's only going to basically be getting those buildings extra, but I could put one over here, get all this as well. So let's put a stop there. So Redstone East, Renville Old Town Hall, and Renville. And the great thing about this version of OpenTTD is I literally just have to press automate, clone how many vehicles I want. So for instance, let's say for this we should have 4 vehicles, and press go, and that is all I need to do. If I want to organize these, like I will, I'll go into here, which this little button shows me a list of all the vehicles that share the same orders. Go to create group from list, and then we will group them just to keep them nice and organized. So we'll call this one Redstone. Let's call it route 10. And then we'll create Redstone. Oops. Don't know why I can't spell Redstone. I am kind of going over my microphone though. Redstone 10. And we'll create another route which could be like Redstone 18 because, you know, why not? And then we will add this in. So the first time they'll go around the route, they'll pretty much all bunch up, but the second time they'll notice space out. It's a really good feature. There's lots of really handy time-saving features in this version of OpenTTD. Surprisingly, it's created by someone that I actually know I've met and know in real life, and kind of outside, completely away from OpenTTD. And it was only when I was downloading this file I was like, hang on, I recognise who makes this. I recognise that profile picture. I was like, hey, do you make OpenTTD things? They're like, yes. I was like, oh, how interesting. So, you know, small world and all. Right. I'm just going to make the second bus route go to this town. It's a town that needs including. Maybe we could potentially in the future link it to a a branched railway network that goes out here, but for now we'll just keep it to there, and I'll make it terminate. Like the bus can terminate somewhere around here. We'll make a road up there for future city expansion, and I will make a bus depot there, and we'll do exactly the same. So from there, Redstone, oops. And then that only needs to be, say, 3 vehicles. I'm just going to quickly lump it in that group before I clone them. There we go. And that is it done. So we have a bus network for this first town. We've built the first section of our main railway, which is going to extend all the way over to Jinborn. And in doing so, after this, we will connect the next towns and pretty much be, yeah, I think all will be cool.